People all over the world fell in love with the Merc with a Mouth when Ryan Reynolds decided to take on the role of that character. Deadpool has been a fan favorite for a while, with his quirky sense of humor, killer abilities, and heartbreaking backstory. His resilience and ability to find humor in heartbreaking situations is something that we have all loved in him. Throughout his adventures and misadventures, Deadpool melted the hearts of not only the readers, but also several characters whom he came across. In today's video, we will learn about the 10 most powerful women in the Marvel Universe whose hearts were thawed by Deadpool. Whether it was because of his sense of humor, his ability to stand by them, or if it was because he was a trustworthy person in their eyes, we will get to the bottom of all that Deadpool riz and see if we can get some notes from him. So grab your pen and paper and let's get down to it. But before we get started with the video, we have a small request for you. If you like our content, subscribe to us and like this video. It might just be a simple click for you, but it means a lot to us. So let's get started. Queen Shiklah. Queen Shiklah is not a queen just for her namesake. Before humanity existed as we know it, monsters overran the world, and Shiklah and her family were the rulers. Before man came to be, there was a war between the rulers and vampires. The vampires wanted to be the ones who ruled, and Shiklah's family was not going to let that happen. Cue war here. During the war, man first came to be, and the result of the war was disastrous. The family was overthrown, and their kingdom had fallen. Shiklah's father had to watch 2 of his 3 children die, and like any other father, he could not bear the thought of his daughter dying like that. So he decided to put her in a sarcophagus until the war was over, or until she was to be wed. Now, as this feud was an ongoing one, our big vampire man, Dracula himself, decided that he would stop the atrocities by creating a peace treaty via marriage, of course. He decided that his marriage to Shiklah would stop the war, so he decided to send Deadpool to go find her and bring her back to him. So off Deadpool went to the Arabian Peninsula in search of Shiklah. He showed up right in the nick of time before this faction of monsters with time-traveling powers got to the sarcophagus. Once the sarcophagus was in his hand, Deadpool decided to travel to Greece. While traveling through Greece, he was attacked by the Minotaur, and what do you know, in the scuffle that followed, the sarcophagus broke, and out came Shiklah herself with her pet dragon, Bug. Now imagine you are a succubus sorceress who spent her last waking moments in a war. You had to watch your kingdom fall and your brothers die. Then to protect you, your father sealed you away. If you wake up from your slumber to a fight, you would automatically assume that people are there to kill you. No questions asked. That is what Shiklah thought. And can we really blame her? She kissed Deadpool and drained his life force, or at least tried to, but as we know, Wade has healing abilities. She was unable to kill him off. This obviously impressed her because it is not every day that she kissed a man and that man walked it off. Shiklah decided that it would be the best decision for her to follow Wade wherever he went, and sure enough, that led to them getting into more misadventures together. They were intercepted by Blade. Yes, Blade, the vampire hunter in a trench coat, and they had to fight him off together. But at the end of this fight, they were definitely getting close, and Shiklah decided to make her move after she saved Wade from being possessed by a Templar ghost. However, Wade wanted none of that love stuff because he does not have the best track record when it comes to love and marriage. But before our unlikely couple could unload that emotional baggage, they were found by Hydra, who obviously wanted to use Shiklah's powers for evil. And while they were dealing with that, AIM showed up. AIM, standing for Advanced Idea Mechanics, is a group of brilliant scientists who have only one goal, which is to overthrow the government that decided to capture them from Hydra. Shiklah fought with them and almost defeated them, but got captured by MODOK, modified organism designed only for killing. So Wade had to go save her from MODOK. As it is scientifically proven that traumatic experiences on the first date usually bring people closer, Shiklah and Wade confessed their feelings for one another and got married once they reached New York. However, this marriage did not last long because Wade was was negligent, which pushed Shikla, who was ruling the monster world by herself, into finding other lovers. When one of her oldest subjects was killed for wandering off Monster Metropolis, Shikla completely went ballistic, and in order to stop her, Deadpool decided to bring Dracula into this mess. Take notes, people. Never bring a third person into your failing relationship, because soon enough, Dracula and Shikla decided to get married, and eventually, she leaves Wade to do her own thing with Dracula because she no longer wants to rule over her subjects. Death. If you cannot die, then the best person to fall in love with would be someone who cannot die herself. No? The personification of death definitely can't die. So understandably, at one point, Deadpool fell in love with Death. Death herself also wanted Deadpool and wanted to be together with him. This led to Deadpool working his big brain and figuring out a way to die. But because Deadpool is not allowed to be happy, there is a problem in this seemingly perfect relationship. This problem was our very own Mad Titan, better known as Thanos. Thanos has worked as Death's warrior for a long time, and over the years, this Mad Titan developed feelings for Death. When he saw that she favored Deadpool over him, Thanos was not at all okay with it. He wanted Death to only have eyes for him and him alone. So he decided to curse Deadpool with immortality, making it almost impossible for him to be with Death. However, right after this curse, Death was kidnapped by Eternity, the anthropomorphic version of the universe that holds Earth 616 in the multiverse. See, Death was no longer present in the cosmos. There should be some sort of cosmic disbalance, right? This disbalance manifested itself into turning practically every living organism immortal. But that is not how life would work, because immortality will eventually break down the food chain and bring chaos. So it was very important to find where Death had gone and bring her back. Deadpool had no idea where his love went. He assumed that it was Thanos who kidnapped and stowed away Death, so he tracked the Titan down. However, when he showed up on Thanos' ship, Thanos decided to take back his curse, making Wade mortal, only to kill him immediately afterwards. Thanos clearly did his thinking that once Wade was out of the equation, he would be able to have Death to himself. However, the plan fails miserably when he realizes that Death will not speak to him. So begrudgingly, he brought Wade back, and then they showed up at Eternity's realm after learning that is where Death is. Thanos attacked Eternity mercilessly, and when Wade realized that it was Death's plan, he had no choice but to interfere in this fight. Wade, possessed by the Unipower, allowed him to go toe-to-toe with Thanos, and during this fight, Wade's words made Mistress Death realize the validity of life, which leads to her leaving with Thanos and mortality, returning to Earth 616. Satana. When it comes to being a popular guy like Wade Wilson, you would often run into gold diggers. However, when it comes to Wade, he specifically ran into soul diggers. Satana, the daughter of Satan, liked poker. While at a casino, with high stakes at the table, Satana decided to gamble away her immortal soul. Whoever had her soul would be the one in control of her. If they married her, they would be the ruler of hell by proxy, and she definitely did not want that. She went to Wade Wilson, as Dr. Strange was out of town, and as she looked like a total hottie, Wade instantly fell in love with her. Honestly, Wade, same. To defend his lady's honor and get her soul back, Wade showed up at the place where the group of boys who had won her soul fair and square were present. Sadly, that is where he learned the horrifying truth. 5 of those men were actually princes of hell in their human form. We have Belasco, Asmodeus, Mephisto, Dormammu, and Lucifer. In order to save himself from their wrath, Wade jumps out of the window. After meeting with Satana, he decided that the best way to get out of it would be to get married. The legally binding contract would make Wade the owner of Satana's soul by proxy, and of course, he would give it back to her. Satana and Wade get married with a medical officer of the casino officiating it. Before they consummated their marriage, Satana used Wade's soul to charge up his swords with hellfire. Before they could get into the best part of the night, Satana was called by the victor, Asmodeus. He had won her soul out of the 5 demons, and now he wanted to marry her instead. Wade pleaded his case very politely. However, Asmodeus was not having it. In the end, Wade cut the demon in half using his hellfire-laced katanas and won her soul. Once back at their honeymoon suite, however, Wade gets ditched. Satana leaves with half of Wade's soul because she thinks he's too clingy, so maybe gold diggers and soul diggers both need to be avoided. Rogue. Rogue is definitely one of the mutants from the X-Men group who had quite a hard life. Her powers made her quite dangerous, and in the Avengers Unity team, she had the opportunity to run into Wade. They had sparks flying between them, but those sparks were definitely cast aside when Rogue ended up mind-controlled by Red Skull. Red Skull took over Professor X's psychic brain and ended up pitting one superhero against the other. In this one-on-one battle, Rogue had to face off against Wade, and oh boy, the beatdown was brutal. Wade ended up quite disfigured immediately after the fight because of how strong Rogue's punches were. The panels were graphic, and it shocked a lot of the fans. Thanks to his healing ability, Wade was able to come out of the whole fight with a few scars, reminding him of the beatdown. But that was not as easy for Rogue to accept. She put Wade in a cane, which shows that her powers hindered Wade's healing ability. She felt extremely guilty about all of this, and eventually, when the time was right, she kissed Wade. This kiss allowed her to take over Wade's scarred, tumorous skin, and Wade went back to normal. This was something that Wade was not sure he deserved because he had never felt this loved and this accepted before. When he tried to point out the now scarred skin that Rogue had, Rogue brushed it aside. This acceptance truly left a mark on Wade, deeper than on his skin, even though their fling was quite temporary. Siren. Teresa Cassidy, better known as Siren, was a part of the X-Force. Owing to Banshee and Wade's relationship, Siren and Wade eventually end up working together when they face off against Juggernaut and Black Tom. During this fight, at one point, Wade's mask came off, and he did not want Siren to look. But Siren caught a glimpse of his horribly scarred face, and her gasp broke Wade's heart. However, Siren quickly made up for it by reaching out to him and touching him with care and affection. This led to the inner Edward Cullen in Wade Wilson waking up, and he started watching over Siren while she slept. It turns out Siren knew about it, and she liked it. Their relationship was going well because Siren acted like the moral compass for Wade and helped him do better and be better. However, when Typhoid Mary disguises herself as Siren and sleeps with Wade, their relationship ends up in a tumultuous state. Wade had an emotional breakdown, and Siren was not too happy about the whole situation. Right as everything was getting back on track, Copycat took on the form of Deadpool and beat her up. Siren did not know it was Copycat and assumed it was Wade, which led to a massive crack forming in their relationship. Later, she learned the truth and forgave Wade, even though this was not on him, but the spark was gone. We do see Siren sleep with Wade at one point, but that was only because she was hurt over the death of her father and son and used Wade as a distraction. This was something she regretted immediately, and the morning after, they cut ties and went their separate ways. So, what do you think? A better love story than Twilight, or not? The Wasp. In Deadpool's Secret Wars story arc, we see our favorite Merc with a Mouth work his way up to being a hero. Throughout this whole story, Deadpool does everything that a hero is supposed to do. He protects Captain America from getting infected by Kang. He infects the Venom symbiote with madness, and several more instances of him saving his colleagues show that he is a great guy. He gets healed by Zashi, and he no longer has the scarred skin that he is so insecure about. In this reformed state, Wade ended up finding love in a hopeless place, Rihanna style. Basically, he ended up in a relationship with the Wasp, also known as Janet Van Dyne. The relationship between them was going great, and their bond was quite strong. However, when Wade survives Dr. Doom's assault, but the other heroes do not fare as well as him, he asks Zashi to save the heroes. This undid the healing that Zashi had done on Wade, which led to him coming back with his scarred skin. When the Wasp saw him in that form, the way she reacted broke his heart completely. As a salt to the wound, Janet wished for her to forget ever meeting Wade, and that wish was fulfilled by the lingering powers of the Beyonder. leading to her forgetting everything about Wade, even meeting him. This truly showcases the way Wade is treated because no matter how heroic he is, somehow he never gets the full credit. Black Widow. Owing to her job, Natasha Romanoff had flings with a lot of Marvel characters while under disguise because of her ulterior motives. However, when it came to Deadpool, that was not quite what happened. Basically, when Natasha was using the alias of Yelena Belova, she paired up with Wade to fight off the Thunderbolts. Wade, being a simp for women who can kill him, was immediately smitten with her, and while his antics were irritating for Natasha, eventually he grew on her. This led to them sharing a kiss mid-fight. This definitely led to Wade being more attached to her than ever. However, being a professional, Natasha cut this romance short because her job was her main priority. Later, we see Wade keep up with making passes at her, and every time he does, he is met with a swift punch to his face. However, with the delicate emotions and genuine care that Natasha showed towards Wade, we have reasons to believe that she truly felt something for him, which was not fake. I mean, come on. She literally gave him his beheaded head back. That has to be a sign, yes? Copycat. Vanessa Carlyon is Copycat, the blue-skinned mutant shapeshifter and power copier. She was someone that Wade was in a relationship with before he got cancer. He told her to hit the road once he got the diagnosis, and then he joined Weapon X, and things got a bit blurry. However, once he was Deadpool, they ran into each other again, and it became clear that Vanessa was obsessed with him. She wanted him so badly that she would often change her form into whichever woman Wade liked at that point and try to start the relationship back with him again. However, when the ruse would eventually fall apart, she would try to kill Wade, which is a very severe case of mood swings if you ask me. We can see just how far her obsession ran when she disguised herself as Siren just to sleep with him. Big yikes! Funnily enough, she is the Vanessa we see in the movies. Definitely before she got obsessed with Wade though, so that is a tidbit for you. Outlaw. Crazy Inez Temple, better known as Outlaw, was a cowgirl mercenary mutant with the power of enhanced strength. When Deadpool was the top name in the mercenary field of work, they ran into each other. They flirted a lot, but that flirting seemingly never went anywhere until Wade proved himself to be a good guy. At one point, Wade spends a lot of money trying to give Inez a better life right after she gets cheated on by Agent X, who she thought was Deadpool with amnesia. This selfless act of Wade was rewarded heavily by Inez by allowing him into her pants, and eventually that led to them getting married. But as we know, Deadpool does not have the best luck when it comes to marriage, and soon enough, problems start to arise. Basically, Inez's sexual eagerness with her enhanced power ended up with Wade getting his pelvis shattered in 1,000 pieces while on their honeymoon. His healing factor was unable to cope with the frequency of the damage he was receiving, and in the end, this became the straw that broke their marriage's back. Inez showed up as his love interest in Deadpool Max, where she was a mix of Copycat, Outlaw, and Domino. She was sex-starved and psychotic for the most part. In the Deadpool pulp, she was an old flame who was on the opposite side, and eventually, Wade had to kill her in order to save the USA from a nuclear explosion. Orxa. While Wade had a significant amount of riz when it came to mutants and fellow humans, it was extremely surprising when he ended up getting married to the 8-foot-tall Orxa. Orxa is an alien Wade eventually runs into when he decides to take out the intergalactic bounty hunter Macho Gomez. It turns out Macho Gomez was Orxa's third husband. Understandably distraught over her husband's death, Orxa was livid, and when Wade kissed her to calm her down, she assumed it was a marriage proposal and accepted it. Cultural differences do be like that sometimes. However, eventually, this marriage was annulled when Orxa realized she had feelings for Ob, the one-eyed alien co-worker she has, and Wade returned to Earth, realizing that he really did not mind chubby girls. marvelous verdict. Owing to his flirtatious nature and strange ways of calming down people, even aliens, Wade has ended up in several marriages without even realizing. However, each of these relationships, long-term or short-term, had an impact on Wade. While one gave him a newfound appreciation for thicker women, the other made him feel horribly insecure about his skin. Overall, Deadpool's love life runs on a chaotic balance, and chances are no one except Wade would ever be able to survive all of this in the first place. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.